Welcome. My name is Michael Wickerson. I have been working on bringing things into Grasshopper for a few years now, and I have focused on recently on a repository for hopping up some of my past C scripts. And for those that have supported me on Patreon, I have pretty regularly allowed access to private repos. That would be basic C# nodes, which I've made public now. I still have intermediate and advanced C# nodes and some custom C# nodes, and then there's more additional ones. And that goes the same for the Python custom nodes and user objects. What I've done is I made this past one here available, so you can always go in and just download them and figure out all of the basic methods for making things. They've been scripted from, I believe, Warsaw white paper, and I've customized a few to make them interesting. But, you know, I wasn't finding a very big following. Not a lot of people that want to learn C want to do it this way. They kind of want to figure it out on their own in Visual Studio, or they want to make their own C nodes that customize what they're doing or pack their Grasshopper scripts into those C nodes. So it's good for some people, maybe not good for others. So what I've decided to do is go into the repositories and use Rhino 7's hop node to take those scripts and start with the extreme basics, even prior to geometries, Rhino geometry, and hop them up. And I may in time put my hop2 scripts up as well to show how they're used and how to get them running. What I'm going to do is do a test here of what actually happens with this is you go in and you pick a file as simple as hello world, and you right click and download and copy that link. And if you do that, we'll just jump back out of here to what's going on here is you can go back to your params, and with the package manager downloading hops, you get this very simple component. Up here, I believe it says that it's using parallel computing, so it's pretty fast. And what you can do is you can right-click and set your path to that file on the GitHub. So you don't have to download and put it on your computer and find it, like I have all of these ones hopped up and hop2. That's the way to get to them. What you can do is just use my hopped up files pretty simply. And I'll show a nice example. Canceling. Just go in here and cut and paste that link you just took from GitHub. And in doing so and running it, there you go. You've got a string, and I have it set for these early ones to have an out, and then it's up and running, and you don't have to see the C script. Double click to see what's going on there, and the hello world A here didn't say anything because I didn't set A to anything. So that's a simple one to start. Let's grab another one. Right here, what I may do, I'll just keep practicing. Go on into your GitHub again, all hopped up. I'll pull this out over here maybe. Let's go into hopped up and say, well, let's try a format string, a cultured format, a form from list, a comments tool. There's a whole bunch here. Here's a ranges of numerical data types, which would tell you. So this is extremely basic computer stuff that you may want to learn, but you've never done in Grasshopper. It's not too exciting, but here's a simple modulus division node. So you can go into here, and you can right click it, hit copy link, go back to your Rhino, go into here, find the path, and type it in. There's other ways to do this as well. But now you have a basic number. You're not going to actually see, there's defaults that are worked in for me as 10 and 2. But if you want to use those as a reference, go ahead. I'm just going to go in here with number 1. And let's say that was 10. And this one as 2 or as 3. You're basically getting an integer division of 10 divided by 3, which will leave you at integer 3 because it's going to get rid of the remainder. And the other function. So you're writing a C script, but you don't need to see what it is, and you can just jump right in and have some pretty interesting nodes without actually having any plugins. You don't need to go in and grab anything. And that's another way of doing it. And then you've got a parametric model you change, and you're actually changing 2 bases of data. So let's try it just a couple more times. Let's go back into here, hopped up and say, okay, what's one that's kind of interesting as I'm plugging through here? Equality versus with assignment, increment and decrement, conditional operators. You might want to download these so you can see the full names and organize them in your own scripts. I've got them organized in letters and categories. Here's a toggle switch. Here's a conditional operator. I can certainly put on my more recent ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my file, new files. I'm going to choose because I just put a bunch on today, hopped up. And I'll just, in case I made any changes to the other ones, I'm just going to grab them all and open. And I'm just going to let those all load up. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I think I got to E. Yeah, I've got some else statements, some exceptions. I've got a really nice hopped up one that I was playing with geometry. But this is for those basically wanting to get into C. Choose all those and let's just set those, save the changes. And that should work. Just takes a minute to process. And now I should be able to go back in and say, okay, what did I have? I had an else statement. There's a toggle switch. That one's actually kind of fun because there are no get booleans yet in hopping up. So you have to think of it as a number 0, 1, which is fine. Just basic coding. We'll jump back into here. We'll grab a hops tool and we will go to our path and I will paste that in. And I was going to show that you could actually go into these things here and make a show an input path. And then you could always go in, if this is how you're familiar with it, grabbing a C file and putting your C file into there, but it just seems like more work. So I've got a toggle that you could reset to Boolean toggle. If that makes sense, 0 and 1, and then you've got a value string, so you can literally like grab these two and have that be the value 1 and that be the value 2, and then the switch is on to actually switch from one or another. And you can make your own icons and customize these and do whatever you want. I'm not going to worry about it. Asynchronous is key if you actually want to run things quicker if they're slowing down because of lists. But you can see I've got a little tiny data here that's jumping back and forth. And I put, so that's a nice little one to kind of keep going. And what you'll notice is you can hop one C script to another C script to another C script. And this gets pretty insane. And you're also able, while you're hopping up, I'm going to make some pretty incredible hopped up scripts. And I'm going to work beautifully recursively. I'm going to nest, and all my scripts are going to become so gently organized that you won't have these can of worms anymore and use data from one to the next, which could be really fun. So as you're jumping through here, you can see that this hop's going to influence that one, just like the nodes always worked in Grasshopper, but without so many plugins and with some very specific things. So let's go back into here and just grab our hop up, and I'll end with maybe an else statement or exceptions run. Let's do a if-else statement or precedent if we want. Toggle switch, conditional operators are nice. We'll grab an if-else statement, which is kind of nice, I think. Let's go back in and grab the if-else statement. A little right-click, copy link. Go back into here, get ourselves a new hops node, and we're literally hopping two from these hopped up ones that were there. I'm going to pop that in there and see if this one runs. Give it a second, and there we go. We have a number X. Now, what's beautiful about this is because this is actually running as a list, you can't get in and see it, but I've got these really nice little custom scripts. I haven't really named it. It's just hops. I probably should say more of what it does, but basically it's an if-else one. I can grab some data, and this is really nice because it's basically checking the number X to see if it's 0 or less or higher. So which means you can start using in here beautiful little things like, let's go 1 negative on a gene pool. Take this one back to 1. Let's have 2 decimal places. Let's do a random. Let's plug those all in. And there you go. You got a nice little node that takes a gene pool and finds out if it's higher or lower than that one. So that's kind of a nice little tool, node maybe you didn't have before, a little bit of C# programming, which people are doing in Python, but I think Hops is going to make this pretty exciting. Let's do one other one right here and go back in. I think I had a pretty interesting one that I liked that was called increment, decrement, exceptions. I think it was like adding one, integer modulus, integer division, increment, decrement. That wasn't it. I thought I had one in here that added one. This is pretty simple. Oh, add one to each. Kind of nice little script. So let's jump in here and go here. We've copied it. Let's go back into Rhino. Let's put this one in and save the path. Now remember, this is running to GitHub. This is running anywhere you want it to be. So now what I can do is I can kind of copy these 2 bits, bring them down here, and I can say, okay, let's take those numbers, add one to each one, and then we have a script that'll do that pretty nicely. But you're doing it through C programming. You can't see it, but what I will do is I actually will bring in, upon request, why not, go into here, I'll make a new, if this is the hop2, hopped up C# G# files, I'll go in and I'll make a hop2, and that will allow you to see all the breakdown of, if I went in here and I said, well, we'll use this example. We'll use open. We'll go back into here. I've got all my hop2 files as example. We'll do the increment. Where was this? Add one. Why can't I see it? Maybe it's out of order. Series. Well, yeah, there it is right there. So we'll just have that one. We'll open it up. And I thought, there it is. So we'll just cut that one. And we'll go back into this one that I had, the unnamed. Oops. It's this one. Oh, that's the one I just brought up, hop2. Let's go into the unnamed one, and let's just, actually, I think I put it in there. Add number to 1. No. Hang on a second. Let's just add it. There it is. Gonna bring that one down, this one down, and this one down. So basically, this will allow you with the hop2 to jump in and see actually, oops, that's the hop2. Why am I thinking so foolishly? Let's go to File, Open, Hop Up. So the hopped up is what I have to bring in. And we'll go into there and we'll say add one to each item. This will bring this up. This is the script that's been hop2. And I can show people how to do this, copy it. Let's go back into here and jump. That's my face that's causing me trouble. Let's go here. And now what we can do is just take that and haul that one down here. And you'll see that this is the hop2. This is the hop up. And this node, if you're interested, can jump in here, adding one to the file. And at this point, you can take this whole thing, slide it over here, and drive the same data. This may cause a problem, but I don't think so. If I take that data and put it into the numbers, then you can see the output. And so at that point, if I share the hopped up files with you, you can go in and actually see what the script is for hopping it up and adding one to each item, which is a pretty simple for each loop. A double, an item in X, output add item plus 1. But I'm just doing this for people that maybe don't want to have the C nodes because they're all available on GitHub in their own way. But I haven't put up, I put the C nodes up so you can have them as user objects and see how I get the scripting and coding those. But I may put in a series of the hopped up nodes. And I'd also like to provide the kind of tedious service of hopping people's scripts up for them. Once I get done all these basics, I will hit the geometries, which means we'll flow into the Rhino geometries that I have all prepared last year. I also have other ones that are C scripts specifically to start bringing things in. This is going to make Grasshopper incredibly powerful, especially if I use Jose Luis Garcia's C node for the game of life. And then I need to surface a couple of numbers in a seed, and I'll be able to generate surface point grids and then the state of those grids, live or dead. It's going to be amazing when I start hopping up full advanced algorithms. So I hope you're excited about this. I know I'm dreadfully excited about it, and it's where I'm going to go. And what I'll do is I'll just take this as a file, save document as another one of these tests, because I have so many, and we'll just put it down as a test 6. And I may share these, but they can get a little jumbly because I just don't know so much what exactly I'm thinking exactly. So I'm going to go back into there and hop to DT. That'll be fine. I think I can close these out. I don't really need them. Oops. That is a pain to have this space here. Alright. I think that's it. And we'll close the last one. Nope. And we've got a nice little grasshopper script that I can start with again. And I believe, if I took a look, I am on else if. I did if else. I did if statement, if else, and now I need to do else if, which is one that I haven't done, which deals with your age. So I'll take a look into it. I'll say your age is less than or greater than or equal to 40. Of course, I could hard code that. Your age. Let's see if I did that. No, your age is brought here. If your age is greater than or equal to 18, it's going to say you can vote in the election. Or else you can watch TV. It's a nice little script that I got from Warsaw, sharing that along with some other things. But now it's time to hop these things up and see what's happening. And I'll show examples to do that at a later date. Thanks for watching. 16 minutes.